Imagine it is evening and you had a long day. You wanted to do the groceries but couldn't make it because you were too busy. Now the shops are closed and you only have some basics in your fridge. Two options remain to satiate your hunger. Either order Chinese again and wait for 40 minutes to get a lukewarm noodle box, or you decide to jump into the kitchen and quickly cook something nice and healthy for yourself.
My name is Luka.
And I'm Harry, and we are students and part of the podcast Culearnary, your favorite cooking companion by young adults for young adults.
Culearnary.
Every Sunday, we will release a new episode to discuss just how to prepare your own meals. We want to show you that everyone, and let me stress that again, everyone, regardless of experience, can cook up some lovely meals. All you have to do is take some vital advice to heart and get going.
So, in this episode, we will cover some bare ground, like the 101 of kitchen utensils that everyone needs and the essential ingredients that you should always have at home. But first, we'll start with a quick and easy recipe for you to try out. What do you have for us today, Luka?
So today I got one of my favorite recipes of all time. It's spinach feta spaghetti. Props to Jamie Oliver, who I saw cooking this when I was a kid. The shopping list as well as the method is pretty straightforward. You can find them both in the show notes and on our social media platforms. So for one serving you need 150 grams of frozen spinach leaves, 100 grams of feta cheese, and 100 grams of dried pasta of your choice. Typically I would use regular spaghetti. Then you need half an onion and some vegetable oil for frying. And for the vampire haters of you, you can also add some garlic. To start cooking, you should first boil water in an electric kettle. About 1.5 liters should suffice. Then you take out your knife and chopping board and dice up an onion. For this recipe, it really doesn't matter how you cut up the onion, as long as it's smaller in the end than before. After cutting, fry the onion in a big pan with some vegetable oil. Once they are nice and brown, reduce the heat and add the frozen spinach. Once it is defrosted, put the boiling water into a big pot and add plenty of salt to cook the pasta. Drop the pasta and set a timer. It's typically 7 to 11 minutes, but be sure to check the package. Now add some chopped up garlic cloves if you want to. You should also get out the feta cheese out of the fridge and crumble it into the spinach. As the feta is quite salty already, you won't need to add any more salt probably, but be sure to give it a taste. Give the sauce a good stir and season it with pepper. And again, please taste. What chance have you got if you don't taste your own food? So I myself love it if this dish is quite peppery because it brings out great aromatics on your palate. So once the noodles are cooked, drain them of the water. And here comes the first crucial tip when dealing with pasta. Do not rinse the pasta with water after cooking it. Please don't. Every Italian grandma will kill you. Because you will wash off all the starch that is on the noodles that you need so the sauce sticks to the pasta. After that, add the pasta to the sauce, give it a good stir, and voila, food is done.
Oh, that was interesting. I mean, for people who are at home and you need a quick fix and you need something healthy, so that really helps. And it's just that you can also do your own variations, right? Whether you're vegetarian or you like meat or you're vegan, you can always look for options at the supermarket, keep some basics at home, and you're good to go.
That's true. Yeah, because it's the thing, like when you start cooking, it might be a bit overwhelming because there is so much, but like as you get into it, you will get your basics at home. Actually, basics is a good prompt because that's the next thing we're going to talk about. And you can just use those basics, combine them in different combinations, and then you're good to go. I guess we're going to start now talking about the crucial ingredients.
Fair enough. So now that we have settled that, let us dive into the basic ingredients that everyone should have at home at all times. Luka, what would you say? What's on your list?
I mean, first things first, seasoning. You need salt, you need pepper, and trust me, you also need chili. Because a bit of chili gives every dish a bit of a kick. And I mean, Harry, you as an Indian, also have curry always at home, and maybe some other Indian and Arab spices, because they just bring every meal to life.
Indeed, we have something called garam masala, which is a spice mix. So you can always have a garam masala. It has nutmeg, mace, red chili, or you can have like dry ginger and like salt and pepper. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of ingredients you have, and coriander actually, and you have like curry leaves as well. You can put those as well. So yeah, I mean, it's like oh yes, another one. We also have licorice, actually dry licorice. So you can put that as well, just to get like a pungent taste. Gives like a minty aftertaste, let's say. Yeah, so then we also have onions, which is start of every good meal, let's say.
True, true.
And what else, Luca? What do you say?
So I would also say like garlic, because like garlic always gives just more flavor to every meal, and I just love it to add it. Like when the meal is a bit tasteless, just add some garlic, and it's gonna be 100% better.
Oh, that also reminds me, if you can't find a garam masala at your local supermarket or store, you can always go for a Chinese spice mix or a five spice, they call it. In China, it's inspired by Indian spices as well. So in the ancient days, they used to trade spices. India was a hub for spices, and Chinese traders would visit the ports of South India and take spices back home. So they also came up with their iteration of garam masala, which is known as Chinese five spice. So you can always
Hmm,
offer that. And
very
there are
cool.
also variants, actually. You find different variants, like you have the Arab spice mix as well, which is inspired by garam masala. Also, the Turkish traders also came to South India, and then they used to trade those spices with the British, actually, and the Europeans. So the Europeans thought, okay, why don't we just, cut the middleman and reach India? So that's how they ended up in India, actually. So that led to the colonization part, and that's just some extra history lesson. But spices, yeah, there we go, lots of spices. Yeah, so we also have rice, actually, which is a staple in Asian culture, especially. We have like different varieties you can choose from. Basmati, you have jasmine, you have brown rice, you can have like semi brown rice or red rice. Lots of varieties in Japan as well. It's like a staple, as you know, with your sushi. It's with rice. What else, Luca? What do you say should be there in a kitchen? Let's say, like talking from a European perspective.
Yeah, like from the European perspective, like definitely pasta. So we have like plenty of different types of pasta. There's a true array. So just like always have pasta of your choice at home, and be sometimes also adventurous. Try new stuff because there are always new things in the stores. Just give them a shot. So Harry, what else needs to be in the cupboard at all time?
When it comes to pasta, I would say also people who are health conscious, rather than having durum wheat, you can have whole wheat pasta. So also organic variants of whole wheat pasta. So yeah, that would help with the health conscious people who like to go to the gym and don't want to put on some belly fat, let's say, with lots of carbs. So that helps. And potatoes, actually, isn't it, Luca? What do you say? Are they well liked in Europe?
Uh, uh, yeah, especially like in Austria where I'm residing at the moment, they're loved. If you don't like potatoes, you might be in trouble if you go to a traditional restaurant. So, like, and I would also say like potatoes is a good alternative because you can do them in soup. You can just boil them. There are so many like different dishes you can just do with them, and like different variants you can do with them. Also brings me to the next thing that you should always have. It's beans and lentils, and these you can either buy dried or canned. Like obviously, if you buy them dried, it's going to be a bit cheaper in the end, but you need to put them into water the day before you use them and then boil them on your own at home. And the canned ones are just very quick to use. It's perfect. You can do salad, you can do stew with it, you can add it as a veg to like every vegetable sauce. So
Yeah.
it's a no-brainer.
Also, when it comes to the lentils, if you have them dried, what we do in India, actually, we use a pressure cooker, actually, which helps with the speeds up the process of cooking like dry lentils. Just put some water, put them in the pressure cooker, some salt, and maybe some turmeric and for seasoning, and then just put it there for like 15, 30 minutes, depending upon what kind of lentil you're using. So you can look it up. And pressure cooker really helps in Indian cooking, especially when it comes to lentils. And then we have vegetable oil, or like if we go by the local perspective here in India, we use coconut oil. We also use ghee, which is clarified butter. And we also use mustard oil, or you can also use olive oil, like even if for seasoning, especially for pastas, as we are talking. What else, Luka?
Yeah,
What do we say?
besides oil's best friend, obviously vinegar for every salad. I mean, no brainer again. Always have some vinegar at home because it just adds a bit more depth to every meal. So what else should we always have?
Oh, we have cream. Actually, you can have like mascarpone cream. It's really nice, I would say. That's something I picked from my Italian friends. So
True. That's
yeah.
something on the hips, I would say, if you eat too much of mascarpone.
Yeah, you can have fresh cream, right?
True.
Always you can find a bottle of fresh cream in the supermarket.
Yeah, like always have cream and like butter at home. Butter just makes everything better. When you go to the restaurant, why does the sauce taste so nice? Because you use butter. So always have a bit of butter at home to just use in every sauce.
And we can also have cheese, right? Just like butter. So it makes everything, gives it a nice texture, let's say, besides giving lots of protein as well. For the diet conscious people, we need protein. We know how basic and essential it is for muscle development and essential functions of the body. So we need a protein source, and then butter and cheese are there.
True. What do we need besides protein? We obviously need veggies. And there are so many different types of veg. Just go out, try stuff. Don't always buy the same things. And use the formula, it's called traffic light formula. You always want to have 3 colors in your meal: red, yellow, and green. Because color-wise, if a veggie is green, then it has different vitamins than a red veggie. And if you combine these 3, you'll be fine from the health from the health point of view. So you should be definitely using different types of veg.
Sure, that's a good way of remembering it. And because we get lots of trace minerals and vitamins from our vegetables. So that's why they're like an absolute essential to include in your daily diet. And if you don't have time to go and, to head to the kitchen and then cut vegetables, wash them, chop them, and do all of that, you can always opt for like frozen variants. We have snap frozen packets of vegetables, like stir fry mixes in the supermarket, and you can get lots of variety in those. So yeah, I mean, it'll solve your problem if you feel like, oh, well, veggies are a hassle. I can't be bothered chopping them, cutting them, washing them. It's going to take half an hour extra. So just get a stir fry mix from the supermarket. Anything we missed out?
Like I would say the next things, like tomato sauce is a no-brainer again. You have to have it. But then we have like 3 ingredients that are like, I would say it's a nice to have. Like first it would be canned tuna. You can do it like with salad. You can do a spread out of it. It's nice to start with it. Then I would also say, like, if you're not vegetarian, always have some bacon at home, but not to like just eat it plain, but to more or less use it as a spice, because a bit of bacon in the right dish can really make it nice and bring out some depth. And obviously always have something green for garnish at home, because don't forget, you eat with your eyes first. So it needs to look nice as well.
There are like, you can always include certain things like basil, thyme, oregano, all of these in your garden, like kitchen garden. Just have them like get a small pot and just put it there. Should be ready to use pretty much. And they don't need lots of water, just some watering every now and then.
Culearnary.
Right, so finally, the next section we have is our kitchen utensils. So, Luka, what would you say about that?
So the thing is, I graduated culinary school, so I had to like learn what you could need all in a good kitchen. However, as we're doing this for you guys at home, for your students, I boiled it down to what you really, really need. So first thing, you need a big knife. Get some money, buy a big knife. It's going to pay off because it's going to last. If you buy a knife for 20 euros, You might regret it a year afterwards. But if you buy a knife for 50 euros, you're going to have it for your life. I myself am a big fan of Japanese knives, and I spent 80 euros on a knife 7 years ago, and I still use it. It's still sharp as a katana. So really,
Wow.
get yourself a good knife.
How about, like, can we actually wash them, like, regularly? Do we have to be careful? How do we wash them and care for those?
The thing is, knives, you never want to put into the dishwasher. So always do them by hand, and like don't leave them in warm water because the edge won't be keen after that. So this is also the tip for the small knife, because you also need a
Right.
small knife just for some veggies. And you always want to have an option to have like two knives to choose from. Because if you have like some, I don't know, chili peppers, you might not want to use the big knife, but the small one.
Fair enough, because I've actually moved around quite a bit. I was living in New Zealand and then I moved to the UAE, because when you're on your own, you're figuring out, okay, you gotta have, like, when you are in a new place, you gotta have like a set. You can also have like a knife set of knives, like with 3, 5, or 6 types of knives, which includes all the bread knives, the like the meat knives, the fish, the ones for cutting fish and veggies and everything. So I mean, yeah, you can always invest in a good set of knives.
Next thing, vegetable peeler. This one you will learn to appreciate daily, because you always need it when you prepare veggies. You will just like, how else are you going to peel potatoes? With a knife like a grandma? Well, you can do it, but it takes so much longer. So you just
Yeah.
need a vegetable peeler to be done with it
And
quickly.
you might end up, yeah, and you might end up with more wastage, right? Like
True.
the thick skin, you might peel off extra than you need to. So
Definitely you can save money with a good vegetable peeler.
Right.
Then, next thing, you need one cutting board out of wood and one cutting board out of plastic. So one out of wood, get a nice and big one. You won't regret it, because again, for veggies, when you cut them, you want to have a big cutting board. Why do you need a plastic one? First of all, it's easier to clean and more sanitary, especially when you handle meat, cheese, eggs. Because with these, you want to be extra careful, just because you don't want to get food poisoning.
So obviously, would you suggest not using the same board for your veggies and meat, right? Separate boards, right? So
Definitely.
that's how
like,
you protect cross-contamination.
Yes, because you definitely want to be sanitary. Because like, food poisoning is not a thing to play with.
Yeah, and how do you actually wash these, especially when it comes to being careful with your handling of the food, especially when it comes to meat and everything?
The thing is, the board for plastic you can put into the washing machine, or you can do it with very hot water. On the wooden cutting
Right,
board,
so dishwasher would help, right?
True.
Okay.
And on the wooden cutting board, I wouldn't put into the dishwasher, because the wood gets soggy and it's not helping. So you will ruin it basically if you put it into the dishwasher too often.
Okay, so what else? We need some utensils to cook as well, right?
True. Then we come to the pans, and like for you students at home, you need 2 pans basically, because most of the student kitchens have only 2 stoves. So you need a big frying pan with a high rim. You can fry everything in these and do every sauce in these. And then you need a high pot with a lid. This one is for the side dishes like rice, cooking pasta. So these are the absolute basics that you need.
And what else? Like any more tools, etc.?
Now we're coming to the little kitchen helpers. So you need a sieve. You might not think you need a sieve, but you need one. Because otherwise you're going to burn yourself when draining spaghetti. Otherwise you're going to burn yourself when like steaming veggies. So get a sieve. And then a wooden or plastic spoon for stirring. Because like this is your best friend in the kitchen. You want to get a nice one. I myself am a drummer, so I got a wooden spoon that is shaped like a drumstick. So really, there are some nice ones out there. Just get one that you like, because as I said, it's gonna be a friend in the kitchen throughout your culinary journey, I would say.
And any more things like little nitty gritty here and there?
Little nitty gritty is good, because like everyone has an IKEA close to him or her. So go to IKEA and get the small kitchen set. It's a spatula, a ladle, and pincers. This is like the best deal you can get, especially like it's a couple of euros and you have everything you need. So this is all you're going to need for your kitchen as a student, because you have like a ladle, spatula, obviously how you need them, and pincers. Trust me, you're going to need pincers, because you don't want to stab the veggies or the meat, because then it's going to fall apart and get dry. So just buy this and be safe for the future. And then
I also remember buying like a set, like just like a knife set. I also bought like a set with spatula, ladles, and everything else. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. What else?
And
like finally, do we have anything like that we forgot?
obviously, you need kitchen racks, just like in general for washing, for cleaning. Get two. Do is a good like benchmark. You can get more, obviously, and then get plastic containers for leftovers. I'm a bit of a freak when it comes to plastic containers, because I always cook too much, and then I put it into plastic containers and put it into the freezer or into the fridge. But it's so amazing, because first you save money by like obviously not wasting food, and then you can pre-cook stuff. So when I had like long hours at university, I would like in the evening before make myself a lentil salad with just like some onions, lentils, and maybe tuna, oil and vinegar, and then you can take it next day to university in your plastic container. And you're going to be happy there, because like what's better than having something yourself prepared at university? Because we all know sometimes you're in a rush and you won't have time to go somewhere to eat something.
For all those health freaks out there who are like, no, we don't want plastic, you can always offer like a glass container. Like,
True.
you know, there are lots of options these days. You can offer glass or maybe wooden containers. But plastic is like easy for handling, let's say. If you're in a house with kids, or maybe you want to you can't like carry a glass container with you all the time to school, because it'll be very heavy and bulky. So and also when it comes to plastic, just be careful that you don't have like BPA. Just opt for BPA free. It's like a special chemical that they use for like making that plastic container. So opt for BPA free plastic.
That's a good tip. And also like learn from my mistakes, because I bought myself a glass container, and the day I regretted it was when it broke at university, and my lunch was like on the ground. So I'm also always gonna opt for plastic containers from now on. Thankfully it was just like after class and not before class, but it was hell. So really like get yourself
or actually
nice
there
containers.
are some combination ones as well, right? Like I remember my brother getting like a lunchbox which is like glass. The containers are glass, but then the lids are like plastic, so nothing spills out, and it's like it's in a bag, let's say, which protects the glass from breakage, so it's very handy.
So if you have all of these things that we just spell out, first in your cupboard and then in your like drawers, then you will be fine, and you can go on this culinary journey with us together.
All right, guys. So if you wish to get back to us in any way about any tips or tricks that you have that you employ when it comes to your cooking, or you want us to cover something new, or so we are always there for you. We're on social medias, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can reach out to us on our channel, Culearnary. You can find us with that name on all the social medias, and we are active there. And then viewers can pose us questions. Actually, not just viewers, because we are a video podcast, but we are also an audio one. So listeners can pose us questions everywhere. And we'll try to answer those questions in the next episode. And for all the traditionalists, or if you're not on social medias because you have concerns about your privacy, etc., you can always reach out to us through email. So our email address is podcast@culearnary.com. Luka, anything last minute?
Yes. So dear listeners, I want to give you a challenge. So you remember the recipe I introduced to you at the start of this episode? I challenge you to cook this recipe, make a photo, and post it on social media with the hashtag #CoolLearningByDoing. All the people that post, we will do a raffle, and the winner gets to pick an episode that we will cover in a future podcast. So be sure to engage with the challenge, because I'm very much looking forward to seeing your creations.
Awesome. What more could we ask for than perhaps winning a prize for our showing off our culinary skills, right? So yeah, then thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in today. And in the next episode, we'll have something special for you guys. Luka, what would you like to say what it is?
So we're going to talk about something very dear to me. It's going to be Austrian cuisine. So bear with us and keep cooking, and listen to us next time.
All right, goodbye, everyone.